Hi, everyone. Andrew Schultz, Community Manager here at RentPrep. I am also a licensed real estate broker with over 14 years of experience in the property management and rental property industries. And one of the things that we do at Own Buffalo, which is my brokerage, is do work on foreclosed properties. We help banks get foreclosed properties from the point where they own them to the point where an end user owns them, whether that be someone getting ready to rehab it or someone looking to own or occupy. And today we're going to go out to a foreclosure property that was just assigned to us. I have not been to this property yet. We're going to do a quick walk around the interior and exterior. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I look for when I walk into a foreclosure for the first time. And we'll see what else we can uncover while we're up there. Let's get to it. All right, so we just arrived here at our foreclosed assignment that we're going to go in here and take a look at. I have not been through the interior of this property. I was here once before, probably close to a year ago, to do an exterior inspection. It's a long process to get through a foreclosure here in the state of New York. And this property is now ready to go on the market. I have not been inside this one. I did go ahead and unlock the doors both on the house and the garage just to make it a little bit easier to walk around as I'm doing the video here, but I've not been inside either structure yet. So we're going to walk around the outside of both structures. I apologize if you're picking up a lot of wind noise. We're going to walk around both structures on the outside. I'll point out some things that I'm noticing as I'm going through. And the reason I'm pointing out a lot of things is for two reasons. Number one, I need to get a price together for what I think this property is valued at its current condition. And number two, I need to get a client out here, a contractor out here to give me a quote on getting this place cleaned out and getting it ready to go on the market, essentially. So we'll walk around the property. I'll point out some things that I notice as I'm walking around, and we'll come back here in just a couple minutes. One thing I didn't mention in that last video clip that you might want to take note of is I always make sure to wear a respirator mask whenever I go inside of a foreclosed property for the first time, or really any property that's been closed up and vacant for an extended period of time. And basically, the simple reason behind that is I just want to make sure I'm protecting my lungs. Every time I walk into one of these properties, I'm exposing myself to who knows what. I mean, we really don't know what's been going on inside these properties during the period of time that they've been sitting here vacant. You could have people in here manufacturing drugs. You could have people in here living. You could have just mold and microbial growth from the place being closed up tight for a couple of years. There's a lot of things that you could walk into when you walk into one of these properties that you don't necessarily want in your lungs. And for that reason, I always make sure to wear these respirators whenever I go into a property for the first time until I know that it's clear. All right, so we are outside of the subject property here. We're going to take a quick walk around the outside. I'll point out some things that I'm noticing as we walk around. The yard's actually cut here, which is nice. I'm kind of surprised at that. Typically, we get a lot of properties where the yard hasn't really been maintained. We do have in the front here a window that looks like it is in need of some paint work at a minimum. Coming around the corner of the house here, we have our electric service, and actually this wraps around and goes back to the front of the house. You can see the condition of this service cable is pretty poor. I would recommend that this be replaced, if not by the bank before they list it for sale, then by the new homeowner when they purchase the property. Coming down the side of the property, again, you can see we've got some more windows that are in need of some attention here. Our side entrance, we'll come back around to that. You have a garage on this property, which is nice as well. The garage is in a little bit rougher shape than the house, but we'll walk around inside there in a minute. Take a quick peek at the back of the house. We'll spin around here, we'll look at the garage, and you can just see this garage is a little rough. Could use a roof, could use some fascia, could use some soffit, could use some gutters. And you do have a little bit of yard back here as well, which is kind of nice. Try not to get the neighbor. Back side of the property, or back side of the garage rather. And again, you can see lots of rot. Lots of fascia soffit issues. Pretty typical. We see a lot of that on these foreclosed properties. This side has quite a bit of bush growth here, but you can see again fascia soffit issues. The roof is pretty rough. Not in great shape. Another quick peek towards the back of the house, and then we'll go inside the garage here. I always like to take a peek through the doorway before I walk in to see if I'm any critters or anything like that we're going to watch into. Oh yeah, this roof shot. So you can see daylight pretty much all the way around the perimeter of the garage roof. So that's obviously an issue. This garage roof is going to need some attention. That being said, though, concrete block walls, there's a little bit of debris in here that needs to be removed. But as far as garages go, it could be a lot worse, that's for sure. You do have a great big garage door with a garage door opener. I don't know if the electric is on here. That's actually one of the other things I need to determine today is what utilities are on, gas, electric, and water, so that we can report that back to the bank as well. All right, we'll walk up and take a look inside the house. We'll move around to the side door here. And actually, I did not throw my mask on before I walked in that garage, and I should have. So we'll go ahead. We'll spin the camera around. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not. Well, put the mask on, check my seal. There we go. Nice tight seal. There we go. And in we go. Got some mail down there. I'll try not to get any names. All right, so we're inside. We got the basement down there, and then we have the home up here. We'll go through the home first. Walking in the side entrance, you start off in the kitchen. You can see that this home probably hasn't had any updates in quite a while. Not atypical for what we find in our foreclosed properties. We'll spin around here a little bit so you can see better. And I'll try to speak up since I know I'm talking through a mask. So you have your kitchen here. The kitchen does have the refrigerator. I see an electric line for the stove. I don't see a stove physically present. That must have been removed. And then I'm physically standing in the dining room. So for here, we'll take a quick look at the inside of the windows. See if everything is locked. Moving now into the living room and front entrance area. We have a closet here with some debris in it, some belongings. Spin around, we have another little closet here. Old vacuum cleaner. I have my flashlight. It looks like we got some microbial growth back there in the corner. That's very, very typical. That's why I'm wearing this mask. Now facing into the living room, we have a couple couches that have been left behind. Spin around so you can see. And then this appears to be a 2-bed. Coming into the little hallway here. There you go. You've got your 2 bedrooms, 1 and 2. And then you have a bathroom here. Actually, there's a light switch. Hey, we do have power in here. Now, limited power. Doesn't look like we have a lot of lights, but you can see that this property could use some love. This bathroom is a little rough. Oops. This bathroom is a little bit rough. The property was winterized at some point. You can see there's a winterization sticker there from October of 2022. You can also see remnants of the antifreeze in the toilets. If the property's been winterized, generally that means the waters are hot and cold, which it is. All right, into the bedrooms. Got a small bedroom here. Quite a bit of stuff in it. Some stuff in the closet. And again, one of the things that I'm here for today is to get a feel for how much stuff is in the property. We'll bring a contractor in to give us a quote on removal of all the belongings. And then once the property is clear, we'll have somebody come through and physically clean it. And then we'll be able to put it on the market. Second bedroom. And then we had another little closet out here, just a linen closet. Quite a bit of stuff in it. Back through the kitchen, we'll head down to the basement. All right, we'll move down into the basement here. Down here, we're typically looking for our utilities, as well as our heating and cooling, hot water. So you can see we have some microbial growth down here right away. Again, that's why I'm wearing this mask. I'll kind of scroll around a little bit here. Somebody left a washer behind, but the dryer's gone. Looks like there's an older stove down here. Let's see if I can sneak over there. A little bit older stove here. Old standing freezer. Let me give you a tip if you're ever in a property where the power has been off for a period of time, or you're not sure what the contents of a refrigerator or a freezer are. You make that the absolute last thing that you open before you leave the property, because they will smell terrible most of the time. And I find that, some more microbial growth. I find that opening those last on the way out the door is typically the best way to handle the situation, because then you can just run away from the smell, as silly as that sounds. But yeah, there you go. So you can see there's like quite a bit of stuff left here in the basement. I want to make my way over here to the furnace and the hot water tank. And actually, why don't we go back over here real quick? That's the water meter. That's one of the utilities that I have to identify, get a meter reading on it, and let them know the status. And you can see that this is actually physically disconnected here. This water meter is not connected to the water service currently, so there's no water being pumped into this home. All right, we'll spin around. We'll go back over towards the furnace. Again, I see some microbial growth here. There might be mud, but I think it might also be microbial growth. Oh, wow, there's a half bath here. This was actually not on the tax record. You do have a toilet, a sink. Is that a shower? It is. You have a full shower in here, too. So you actually have a full bath in the basement, which I wasn't anticipating. And coming back out here, let's see. You have the furnace. Appears to be an 80% efficient furnace. I don't see any high efficiency PVC lines. Yep, there's the truck coming off of it there, so it is an 80%er. Have a hot water tank. We have some copper lines coming off of that. There's also some galvanized and stuff like that in here as well. I don't know if you could tell over there, but the main service line coming in to the house, that was galvanized. And then the hot water tank. And that's not natural gas piping. That might be fuel oil. I called the utility companies. I called Gas and Electric, and Gas said that they had no record of any sort of a gas meter for this property. So we might be dealing with a fuel oil situation. I guess we'll have to keep looking to see if we find a tank. We'll walk around over to the other side of the basement here. And, what's that? That is sewer stack. So there's just a little access around this softening for the sewer stack. There's our line for the furnaces. Goes all the way around the outside of the property. Looks to be running over here. I bet you we have a fuel oil tank. Yep, we do. I don't see any way of getting to... No, that wouldn't be where it's at. I'm trying to find... Oh, hang on. There it is. The meter to see how much fuel's in there. And that says that we actually have quite a bit of fuel. It says we have a little over a half tank of fuel in there, which is, for better or worse. Let's see if it actually sounds like it. Actually, it sounds pretty hollow. So maybe not. Maybe it's actually hollow and that gauge is just misreading, but I guess we'll have to find out. So now we know how the property is heated. We have a good idea as to what's going on with the water situation. We saw the electric meter outside. The only thing I've not yet seen is the breaker panel. And I'm betting that's going to be over here somewhere. Oh, I found some more stuff. Oh, there it is. There we go. Electric panel over here. And we're on fuses. So that is, pretty indicative of what I would expect to find, given that the service cable on the outside was in such poor shape. I'm not surprised to see a bunch of fuses in here. I did see a central air unit outside as well on the left side of the property, which we actually did not walk over to. But there is a very, very old central air unit over there as well. So obviously having fuses, there are some insurance companies and some banks that won't even write a mortgage on a property with fuses. That might be something that the bank chooses to address prior to listing it for sale. It'll just depend on the numbers on the transaction. So let's go ahead and head back outside here real quick. So there you have it. Whew, that was hot. There you have it. That was the inside of a brand new foreclosure. This is a foreclosure that hasn't actually been touched by anybody other than our office. Maybe some maintenance contractors have been through to change locks and cut lawn and stuff like that. But more or less, this is how the property was left by the previous occupant, for better or worse. We'll go through, prepare a price opinion, broker's price opinion for the bank, so that they can get a feel for what the property's value is in its current condition, as well as what it would be worth after repair. We'll go through and put some pricing together for some of the things that they would probably want to address, such as the electrical service and things of that nature. Maybe some of the windows, but mostly going to be a trash out and sales clean on this one, I think, and then we'll get it listed on the market. So we might just leave the electric and let that be the next person's concern. A lot of times you'll get people who buy these homes for fix and flip opportunities, or buy them, fix them up, use them as rentals, as using a BRRRR method and things of that nature. So really just depends on what the end user plans on doing with the property, ultimately, as to how far they want to go with rehab and repair and things of that nature. But as I'd mentioned, we obviously have some work here in terms of just the trash out and the sales clean alone. Something I just happened to see as I was locking things up here. This is actually the fill valve as well as the vent for that oil tank down in the basement. If I had noticed that when I was doing my exterior walk around, I would have known right away what we were dealing with in terms of gas and electric. And actually, let me cut across the back of the property here. We'll give you a quick peek at that old air conditioner as well. There you go. You can see the old central air unit there. If I had to venture a guess as to whether or not that works or not, I would venture probably not. All right, so we are back in the office. It's been a few days since we went out and did the walkthrough on that property, and I'm actually just getting ready to send my notes over to the bank. And just to recap what this video, or what my purpose for this video was, is essentially I'm out there to show you kind of what a foreclosure looks like when it gets assigned to a real estate agent or broker for the first time. And then my next steps in this process are essentially to give the bank a value of the property, both in its current state and if they were to go through and do the repairs. This bank also likes it if we can give them an idea of what those repairs would cost, so they could do a little bit of work on their end to see if that makes sense for them, if they want to rehab the property versus selling it as is. So that's something that we try to give the bank as well. And then also we've been out there and met with a vendor to give us a sales clean bid as well as a trash out bid so that we can get that property cleared out. That's going to be the first step in the process no matter what. On top of that, we are in the process of getting that property de-winterized, making sure that the water lines are operable, in good shape. A lot of times, especially up here in New York or other cold weather climates, you'll get lines that will burst over the course of winter if the property wasn't winterized properly. So that's something that we're working on finding out. And then we're going to get somebody out to test that HVAC system as well as that hot water tank to make sure that those are functional, especially with it being on fuel oil. That's pretty uncommon for the area that that property is located in. It is in a metro. It's not out in the country or anything like that. And pretty much everybody else would be on natural gas. So it's unusual to find fuel oil on a property in that location. So that pretty much wraps that up for this video. We'll probably do another update on this at some point, just giving you a little bit more of an insight as to what this process looks like from the agent side of the house. I know that our next step, like I said, is going to be the trash out and then getting things tested. So perhaps we'll do another video after at that point where we update as to what the property looks like after trash out or something of that nature. But if these are videos that you enjoy, do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button, because it really helps us to figure out what types of content makes sense for our audience. And if you have any questions on the process or on how to buy foreclosures or things of that nature, you can drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer those as best I can. Keep in mind that every market is a little bit different and every foreclosure and every bank work a little bit differently. Yes, there are a lot of similarities and there's a certain process you have to go through to foreclose on a property, but there's a lot of different ways that you can get from point A to point B, if that makes sense. So thank you guys for tuning in. We truly do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. Let us know down in the comments below. I'm Andrew Schultz with RentPrep.com, and I'll talk to you soon.